Today, I want to slow things down just enough to make sure you actually understand what keto is, where it fits on the carbohydrate spectrum, and how to begin in a way that's safe, effective, and sustainable. This is about understanding before execution. Keto is not a trend or a trick. It's a metabolic shift. When carbohydrate intake is lowered enough, the body changes how it produces energy. Instead of relying primarily on glucose from carbohydrates, it begins using fat and ketones as its main fuel source. That shift isn't willpower, it's physiology. Keto isn't about zero carbs, extremes, or forcing restriction. It's about changing fuel in a way your body can actually adapt to. One of the most important concepts to understand before you start is that keto exists on a spectrum, not a cliff. Most people come from the standard American diet that can easily contain 250 to 300 grams of carbohydrates per day or more. So from there, there's a moderate carb range, a lower carb range, a ketogenic range, and then a more therapeutic level of keto that's used for specific medical purposes. You don't jump off a metabolic edge to get here. You move along the spectrum. So where you start matters more than where you end up. That's why in this approach, we focus on supporting the transition, not forcing the destination. So let's talk about where to start. Most people eating a standard American diet fall somewhere between 250 and 300 grams of carbohydrates per day. A lower carb transition often begins around 100 to 150 grams. This is where insulin demand often begins to decrease and blood sugar starts to stabilize. But as people move closer to keto, many find themselves in the 50 to 100 gram range where the body begins shifting fuel use. And what I mean by that is glucose to ketones. For most people, nutritional ketosis occurs somewhere between 20 and 50 grams of total carbohydrates per day. And again, these are ranges, not mandates. The goal is not to force your body into a number. The goal is to choose a range your body can adapt to safely and then go down gradually. If someone goes from 200 or more grams of carbohydrates per day straight down to 20 or 30 overnight, the body often isn't ready for that speed of change. And I'll be honest with you, 7 years ago, that's the way I did it. Thank goodness I stuck with it. But that's when people experience what's commonly called the keto flu. And believe me, when I say I had it, I had it. Keto flu isn't an illness. It's a temporary physiological response to a rapid drop in insulin, and fluid starts to shift and it affects electrolytes and energy availability before the body is fully adapted to using ketones for energy. This is one of the biggest reasons people stop keto early, not because it doesn't work, but because the transition wasn't supported. So if you've lived with insulin resistance, fatty liver disease, blood sugar instability, prediabetes, or long-standing metabolic stress, a slower and steadier approach is often the smartest path forward. That's not weakness, that's actually very smart, and that's physiology. You'll also hear the term macros a lot when people talk about keto. Macros simply refer to protein, fat, and carbohydrates. On a ketogenic approach, protein is the foundation, fat supports energy, carbohydrates are intentionally reduced. When I first began keto 7 years ago, a lot has changed. The emphasis was mostly on fat, but we since then learned how important protein is. This is not about perfect numbers or obsessive tracking. We'll go deeper into macros later, but for now, this is just orientation. One of the most common mistakes people make early on is either undereating or trying to live on fat alone. Keto is not starvation, and it is not unlimited fat. Protein supports muscle metabolism and healing. Fat supports energy once carbohydrates are lowered. We nourish first, fat supports, it doesn't replace food. Before we close, I want to clearly emphasize one more important piece: medical awareness. A ketogenic lifestyle changes how your body regulates blood sugar, insulin, fluids, and electrolytes. And for many people, those changes are beneficial. But if you're taking medications or managing a chronic condition, they matter. So if you are on medication for diabetes or blood sugar control, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, or if you've been diagnosed with fatty liver disease or other metabolic conditions, it's important to involve your healthcare provider as you make these changes. It doesn't mean that keto is unsafe. It means it's very powerful and can change those conditions for the better. So as insulin demand drops and blood sugar stabilizes, medication needs can change. Blood pressure can shift. Fluid balance can change. These are not problems, but they do require awareness and supervision when medications are involved. My role here is to educate, guide, and support you, and to help you understand your body well enough to have informed, confident conversations with your doctor. Keto should never feel reckless. It should feel intentional, informed, and supported. And when done with awareness, this way of eating can be one of the most effective tools for improving metabolic health, and it works best when it's done safely and in partnership with your care team. Now here's your action step for this video. I want you to track how you're currently eating for a few days without changing anything yet. This is not dieting, this is just for awareness. Use a tracking app, I'll list some in the description below, just to simply see where you currently fall on the carbohydrate spectrum. Notice patterns, notice where the carbohydrates are coming from. No judgment, no fixing, just information. Information first, change later. In the next video, we're going to use that information to set up your environment for success. We'll talk about how to stock your kitchen, how to think about supportive versus problematic fats, and how carbohydrates sneak in, and how tracking can actually help instead of stress you out. Because success with keto isn't just about what you eat, it's about what's around you. You don't need to do this perfectly. You don't need to rush either. You just need to understand what you're doing and why. That's how real, sustainable change happens. I'm 7 years into keto and I would never live another way. I juggle between keto and carnivore. But if you'd like support as you go, I've created a companion ebook that walks you through this step by step, from understanding keto and the carb spectrum to food choices, macros, and what to expect as your body adapts. It's designed to support the exact approach that we're talking about today and in this series: safe, informed, and sustainable. You can find it linked below, and I'll also be sharing some free resources alongside this series, if that feels like a better place for you to start. Either way, you don't have to figure this out on your own.